What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Well, welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb. Today we have covered quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, all stardom, sit-ems, every position, all the rankings that happened from week one, all the statistics. I told you I'd get all the videos out today. This is going to be the tight end. We're going to look at every single matchup, regardless of the tight end. You know, you only start a couple in your league each week, so tight end's a little different. Look at the dog saying hi in the back. What's up, Jewel? So before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, hit that subscription. Helps me out a ton. I'll be bringing you fantasy football content all year long to help you dominate your leagues. If you have any questions, comments, anything, as always, drop them down below. It does not have to pertain to this video. I try to get to every single one of them. They are flooding across my Twitter and YouTube, so if I don't get to it, give me some time. I will try my best to get to it, guys. And if you guys haven't checked out the Guys FF Discord yet, it'll be pinned in the comments and in the description. Me and my partner, Big Draft Energy, we cover everything from Dynasty, trade values, trade you should make in redraft, lineup sets, look at your lineups, help you there, DFS plays, pick'ems. Speaking of pick'ems, if you haven't signed up on drafters.com, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It will match your deposit to $100, and you can do our pick'ems and best ball drafts and stuff like that we put in the Discord, guys. And let's dive into my start sit-ems tight ends for week 2. Starting off with Thursday night football, the Washington Commanders 1-0 are headed into the Green Bay Packers that are 1-0. The over-under is 48.5. They expect the points to fly in this game, as do I. And when you're looking at this game, both these tight ends last week, so you have Zach Ertz and Tucker Kraft, who found the end zone last week, but on very, very limited volume, right? So that is what you have to remember here. That's like a mistake people make in fantasy. They see a high score week 1. Am I going to start that guy again because he popped off week 1? That's why I'm here to help you with the matchups here. So when you're looking at the Green Bay Packers heading up against the Washington Commanders at tight end, right? The Commanders' numbers are going to be immaculate because they played Theo Johnson in week 1 and the New York Giants. And we all know what the New York Giants are. Trash, right? So the Commanders, they do rank 4th versus the tight end. They only gave up 19 yards. That's it. And 1.9 fantasy points, or 2.4 fantasy points. Not great there on that front. So when you're looking at Tucker Kraft, yes, the Packers passed the ball around. There was questionable tags for Jaden Reed. There was questionable tags, I'm talking Commanders. See how tired I am already? When I'm looking at the Commanders, you got Terry McLaurin getting healthy. I did have Terry McLaurin on a sit. I have Terry McLaurin on a sit again here. Debo Samuel in the screen game with Cliff Kingsbury was exactly what I said in week 1 would happen, is exactly what he did. He absolutely thrived. You might get a little more of an Austin Eckler pass game here, taking receptions away, because that's where Green Bay struggled in week 1 was versus the running back pass receptions. So Zach Ertz, touchdown dependent. He's in the yellow. If you want to start him, you can. He's not a high-end flex start for me. He's right in the middle. And if you want to sit him, you can as well. You know, say you have like Kittle on injury. Zach Ertz is a fine start for me there. So something to think about there. Tucker Kraft side. Sorry, I jumped ahead there and it was gas from all the videos. You're going up against the Commanders here. Now, you have Jaden Reed. You have, who's questionable, but he's back healthy. You know that foot's going to be questionable all year long. Matthew Golden, who was questionable. Now he's back out there. Romeo Doubs, Josh Jacobs in this game, right? High implied point total game, short week. Could Tucker Kraft find the end zone again? He could. I like Tucker Kraft a lot in this game across the middle. I think the Washington secondary and linebackers are bad. It was just they played the Giants, so their numbers look amazing in this game, right? They look like they're a top defense, but I really don't think that they are. So Zach Ertz going to be a high-end flex play if you need, or I'll say middle-tier flex play if you need, and Tucker Kraft is still a start for me at tight end. Heading down to Cincinnati, the 1-0 Jaguars are headed in to face the 1-0 Cincinnati Bengals, and Brenton Strange and the Jaguars, and he looked kind of good in week 1. Got more volume than I thought, got more catches than BTJ, which is crazy to me. So you're going up against Cincinnati Bengals here, right? And the Bengals in week 1 were absolutely torched by the tight end position. You had David Njoku go off and Harold Fannin Jr. go off with 9 targets as well. And that was in a game script that was kind of close. It wasn't like they were playing from behind the whole time. That was kind of a neutral game script. So Brenton Strange, if you need a tight end play here, just based on how the Bengals were shredded last week, giving up 100 yards, 10 points to the position. I mean, second most yardage on the week. Brenton Strange could be a nice play if you need this week. The matchup is absolutely great. On to the Bengals side. Mike Gesicki, not a start. Of course, Noah Fant scores a touchdown and scores more points than Jamar Chase and freaking T. Higgins combined, which is absolutely crazy. But when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, again, it's a one-game sample size here, guy. They rank 5th versus the tight end. They only gave up 29 yards to Jatavion Sanders. He didn't have a big day there either, and they played from behind the whole way. So they played very well versus the tight end, but it was a Bryce Young week 1 bad game there. So, when you're looking at the Bengals, are you willing to start these guys with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase out there? No, you're not. The division battle between the 0-1 Giants that are headed to Jerry's World to take on the 0-1 Cowboys. The over-under is 44.5 here. And do we really need to talk about Theo Johnson at all, really? I don't even care about the matchup. I'm not even going to break down any Cowboy stats, but I'll tell you they're 10th versus the tight end. They gave up 45 yards and 4 points. If Russell Wilson was out there, Theo Johnson was an absolute ghost. He's not going to be relevant as long as Russell Wilson is the quarterback. On the Cowboy side, I like Jake Ferguson as a start last week. He was one of my smash starts as well. He had 2 touchdowns that were right in his hand in the red zone. Dak loves his tight end, guys. So obviously I'm going to move him back here, and I'm moving him back here. I still like Ferguson as a high-end, low-end tight end 2 flex kind of start guy if you need that position to be filled. So I just think CeeDee Lamb is going to go absolutely freaking bonkers in this game, right? Because he's mad about the drops that he had last week. Could Ferguson still be a solid, serviceable tight end? 100%. The Cowboys' run game is going to be rough. The Giants' run D is very good. The Giants were 20th versus the tight end. They gave up 26 yards. They gave up a touchdown as well and 8 points in standard scoring to the position. So he has opportunity. It's just I think CeeDee Lamb is going to go absolutely nuclear because he's pissed off from last week. So I'm going to say Jake Ferguson, if you need to throw him in there, you can. I'm not against the start. I'm just not as high on him this week in the matchup. The 0-1 Bears are headed in to face the 0-1 Detroit Lions. And hang on, I got my thing in the wrong spot here. Let me drag it down mid-video live. You can tell the fatigue is kicking in, man. 46.5 is the over-under. And this is what I alluded to all year long with the Chicago Bears and people that were drafting Colston Loveland high and telling me that Colston Loveland is going to outproduce Tyler Warren. None of that was ever going to be true. You have a Ben Johnson system. Yes, did it favor Laporta in year 1? It did. It didn't favor Laporta the next year after that. So you got to look at it like you have so many targets going around. The snap share is going to be a lot of 12 personnel. You saw Cole Kmet outproduce Colston Loveland. I don't even care what the matchup is. I don't think I'm going to have these guys on a start all year long unless like an injury happens to one of them and you get to see another guy get more snap share and get out there as the actual tight end in like a full system because there's never going to be enough volume to go around. It's going to be touchdown dependent, very, very risky all year long, which is what I try to tell you guys with the Bears all year long. So if you drafted them, that was your mistake, not mine. Heading on to the I'll read the Lions for you as well here, but I'm not starting either one of these guys. And the Detroit Lions, they gave up the touchdown to Tucker Kraft last week, so they gave up some points there. They rank currently 20th versus the tight end. They gave up 22 yards, so not great on the yardage, but they did give up the touchdown to hurt them there in the red zone. Or I think it was outside the red zone, like a 20, 25-yarder. I forget what it was. Sam Laporta, week 1, looked absolutely great. Big draft energy. Shout out to him. He called this. I didn't think that Sam Laporta would have this big of a game that he did. But you're going up against the Bears this week. I'm still going to have him as a start because he looked so good last week in the new system that they have out there. But look at what the Bears just did to T.J. Hockenson. And they didn't have Jalen Johnson. And they lost a couple injuries mid-game. So, yeah, Sam Laporta's at home. Jared Goff plays better at home. I think the Lions are going to bounce back and win this game, and I think Laporta's going to be, serviceable start. But I don't love him to find the end zone or anything crazy in this game because the Bears just absolutely shut down T.J. Hockenson. The Los Angeles Rams, 1-0, are headed in to face the Tennessee Titans that are 0-1. And, man, Tyler Higbee's usage was not good. I think he played 35 snaps. I don't think I'm going to be trusting either one of these tight ends. This is like a Chicago Bears situation for me. You're not going to start these guys till one of them gets hurt and one of them really claims this role. So when you're looking at the Tennessee Titans as well, last week, they locked up Evan Ingram, and then he got injured late in the game. Evan Ingram had 3 fantasy points, 35 yards to the position. The Kroll and them came in afterwards. I don't like to play any of these tight ends here. You don't know how it's going to play out snap share wise. Should be a quick, easy to sit here on both these Rams. But I would like to see Ferguson get some more because I loved him out of Oregon. Chigga. Now, this is going to be a sneaky play for me this week. They had a very, very tough matchup versus the Broncos last week, right? You had Calvin Ridley get absolutely shadowed and blanketed by Patrick Surtain. And now you got Elkai Minor got some volume. This is going to be a game where the opportunity is going to be there for Chigakonkwa. The Rams gave up 50 yards versus the tight end last week. That's a lot of yardage that they gave up in a game versus the Houston Texans, who had Cade Stover and Dalton Schultz. So if Okonkwo can emerge here, he's a low-end tight end 2 for me. But if you need to throw him out there, again, with injuries that you've had, don't let week 1 disparage you because they played the best defense in football. This is going to be a matchup where Chigakonkwo can be a serviceable, 6-8 point with a touchdown upside play this week. So I like him as a possible flex start tight end 2 low for Chigakonkwo this week. The New England Patriots 0-1 headed in to face the Miami Dolphins, who are 0-1 as well. 43.5 over under here. And guys, this Miami Dolphins defense is just shattered across the board, right? I mean, what is there really to talk about with how bad it is? Hunter Henry is going to be a start. He's going to be the security blanket for Drake May. Do I think that the Patriots are going to pass as much as they did last week, being behind from the Raiders, 10 plus points in that game? No, I do not. But this is going to be an advantageous matchup across the board for all of the Patriots. There's no way I'm sitting Drake May, Travion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, or Hunter Henry. This defense is destroyed. They ranked 20th versus the tight end. They gave up 96 yards, the 4th most on week 1. And you got to think that was Tyler Warren, rookie's first game, just destroying them. And then they gave up 9 fantasy points as well. They didn't give up a touchdown there, but Hunter Henry, I like his definite start this week. And I'm probably going to have him in my top 10 tight ends when it comes ranking time. Darren Waller's side looks like he's going to be out week 2. Nothing to talk about here. I'm not even going to name the other tight ends that they have there. There's no way you're starting any of the tight ends from the Miami Dolphins. Absolutely no shot there. 1-0 San Francisco 49ers are headed into the Superdome to take on the New Orleans Saints. The over-under is 41.5, and this is going to be a rough one because my guy, Kittle Diddle down the middle, is on IR. Looks like he's going to miss 3 to 5 weeks is the update, but IR put you out for 4, so you might as well say 4 to 5 weeks. And I'm not even going to name Tunges or Pharrell. I know Tung is with the game-winning catch. Obviously, great catch there, but great throw by Purdy as he was banged up. I'm not starting any of these tight ends. I'm not putting their name up there. And, if you want to take a dart DFS throw on one of them, that's fine. The New Orleans Saints versus the tight end ranked 16th. They gave up 74 yards in week 1, but they played Trey McBride. You got to remember that as well. So there's a big hitter there. It's 1 week sample size. So obviously McBride's going to feast, right? Now, Juwan Johnson was the tight end 1 in fantasy football in week 1. I alluded to the volume that the Saints are going to pass all year long. This is why you subscribe to the channel, to get the fantasy knowledge of sleaze. Like, look at the passing attempts they're going to have. Juwan Johnson is going to be a start tight end this week. If he's going to see that many targets, if he's going to play 98% of the snap share when he's out there, how can you ignore this? This is something you have to pay attention to. If he's on your waiver wire, definitely a great fill-in for my guy Kittle while he's out. But you are going up against the 49ers. And you're going up against Fred Warner. And Fred Warner, they're ranked number 1 versus the tight end in week 1. They gave up, you want to know how many yards? 7 yards to the Seattle tight end position. So, yeah, the volume will be there. The matchup is not great, but volume counts, and the tight end position is very rough. And if I can get 8 to 10 points just based on volume at a Juwan Johnson, I'm here for it. Buffalo Bills, coming off that monster, amazing game, are headed into MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets. The over-under 46.5. High implied point total for this game, more than I thought, obviously, because the Steelers-Jets game that was a low-point game last week was a shootout, which was crazy. Now, Dalton Kincaid finds the end zone in week 1, looked a lot better, looked healthier, played hurt all year long. He is a higher-end tight end 2 for me, almost tight end 1 tier. That's why he's in yellow. You can start this guy, I'm pretty sure, with confidence in this game. When you look at the Jets, they did give up. They ranked 23rd versus the tight end position. They gave up 43 yards, and they gave up that weird touchdown. I thought it was kind of a rush, but a little shovel pass there against, with Aaron Rodgers that counted as a touchdown for him, which, it's kind of a Patrick Mahomes chief play out of his book. So, yeah, they look bad, but do I trust it a lot? It's a higher end play for me here. I just think you're going to get a lot of Keon Coleman. You're going to get a lot of James Cook. You're going to get a lot of a different variation here in this game than you're going to get Dalton Kincaid. But if you need to throw him in there, I'm not mad at it. I don't, if you sit him, I'm not mad at it either this week. Mason Taylor, man, the matchup was great. The volume was not. He had 1 catch. It was absolutely terrible. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense was lights out versus the tight end, and that's all they were lights out against. That defense, I thought, was going to be one of the best defenses in football in week 1. Again, I apologize. I said sit Fields, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. Steelers defense got smacked in the mouth. But against the tight end, they ranked 7th. They gave up 36 yards. That's it. They did great. That's great defense across the middle. I'm not starting Mason Taylor. You got to wait for his rookie to emerge here a little more, and maybe he takes that second target for them behind Garrett Wilson, but it's not there yet for me. The Seattle Seahawks at 0-1 are headed into the Steel Curtain Pittsburgh Steelers that are 1-0. The low employing total of the week, 39.5 in this game. Now, when you're looking at Elijah Arroyo or A.J. Barner, just faced the number one matchup with the 49ers, gave 7 yards to the tight end position. Are you starting either one of these guys? This should be a quick no. Sorry, but we'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their defense, right? So the Steelers, the only thing they were good at in week 1, like I just alluded to in the clip before this, is they'd stop the tight end. That's all they did in the week is shut down Mason Taylor. They let everyone rumble against them. I'm not starting any Seattle tight end this week, and the Steelers ranked 7th versus the tight end. On to the Steelers side, Jonnu Smith gets his weird touchdown catch. Do I feel comfortable starting this guy? No. But George Kittle did come out, flashed a TD right away against the Seahawks. They ranked dead last versus the tight end position. I'm still not trusting it. You still have Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth split 12 personnel Arthur Smith system. If you want to throw him out there off a touchdown, that was a fluke to me. Go throw him out there. That is on you. I'm sitting both these guys. I do not trust it. Even though Seattle ranked dead last versus the tight end in week 1, they played against George Kittle. So, yeah, it's going to show like full green on your Yahoo or Sleeper or whatever you play on. I hope you don't play on ESPN, but if you do, that's on you. But it's going to show green. Don't buy into it. The volume was absolutely not there. I know it was a touchdown. That's touchdown dependent, taking a luck shot. I don't like that at all. I'm sitting every tight end in this game. The 0-1 Cleveland Browns are headed into the crazy 0-1 that the Ravens are blowing that game against the Bills. 44.5 over under here in the game. And when you look at this game, this is going to be an interesting game on the Browns side here. I'm going to put David Njoku and Harold Fannin as starts in this game. You're going to say, why both of them? Well, they're going to be playing from behind. The volume is there. They split 16 targets between the two of them. Fannin with 9, which was absolutely crazy. And when you look at the Ravens, Dalton Kincaid scored on them. The tight end could beat them. And this is going to be a game where Joe Flacco is going to pass probably 40-plus attempts in this game. They're not running against the Ravens. I don't care if Quinshon Judkins is back out there. The Ravens averaged 40 yards a rush last year on this, 40 yards a game on the season last year. They got better with Mike Green out of the defense, Malachi Starks as well. This is going to have to be a pass attack only for the Browns. These are both startable tight ends this week just based purely on volume. Now, onto the Ravens side. I know the panic meter is on for Mark Andrews, right? And we've got Isaiah Likely looking like he's going to be out week 2, but check the updates there. I would still slow ramp up for him. I'm not starting him even when he comes back either way. Mark Andrews was blanketed in an 80-point game between the Ravens and Bills. But what do the Bills know? And Sean McDermott, what do they know? They know that they got to take away Mark Andrews, which is exactly what they did. So pump the brakes. Do not panic on Mark Andrews. You're still starting this guy if you got him at the great draft value you did. Lamar Jackson and him down the stretch last year found their connection back. They got it vibing. He's back healthy. It was a one-game thing. Do not hit the panic meter on Mark Andrews yet. He's still a start for me, especially with Isaiah Likely looking out again. The 1-0 Broncos are headed into Lucas Oil Stadium to take on the 1-0 Indianapolis Colts. Now, we got to talk about the Broncos here first. I don't know. This is morning time on this video. So I have not seen that Evan Ingram's been ruled out. I know that he went down with a calf issue, so don't go crazy that I'm saying start him. I'm putting him as a start for sure if he's out there healthy, but I'm not going to put Kroll or any of the backup tight ends behind him if he's out either way. So it's just going to be Evan Ingram up there for me now. And when you look at the matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts, they ranked 10th versus the tight end, but again, they played the Dolphins who had no tight end. They gave up 20 yards to the tight end position. So you don't got to fully go to that. There was no Darren Waller out there, and the Dolphins looked like an absolute shell of themselves. So throw that ranking out the window. Evan Ingram playing the Joker role. If he gets a start there, he's going to be great in this game. Tyler Warren, the possible rookie of the year, comes out absolutely lit, but you get the Denver Broncos, and it's a tough matchup for him. And I don't know, again, if you guys watch my wide receiver video, has Tyler Warren already earned the rep of Patrick Surtain going to shadow him instead of Michael Pittman? Has he already earned this in 1 week as a rookie? That is something we have to wait and see and find out. But there's no way I'm sitting this guy, period. He will get rush attempts. He may even, I said that he'll throw a touchdown this year. He was a high school quarterback. This is the do-it-all tight end that should have been drafted over Colston Loveland. I don't know what the Bears were thinking there. Tyler Warren's a start for me every single week, especially with Danny Dimes under center. And if Patrick Surtain is on Pittman, Tyler Warren's going to feast in this game. The shambled Carolina Panthers 0-1 are headed into the 1-0 Arizona Cardinals here. And I hate to say it, but the matchup is great for Ja'Tavion Sanders. And I know that Bryce Young looked terrible. I know that it was very, very bad, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they kind of ran him out the building. But you got to look at the numbers here and what's available, and this is why matchups are here to be made and DFS plays are here to be made. So when you're looking at the Arizona Cardinals versus the tight end, right, they rank 16th. But, guys, they gave up 76 yards to the position, which is 5th worst. There's going to be room for him to feast in this game, and it's like people just aren't paying attention to it. So Ja'Tavion Sanders, if you need to throw him in there, this is a game where he could thrive. This is a game where they're going to focus on Ted McMillan. This is a game where Ja'Tavion Sanders has a high touchdown upside in this game. So I like him as a low tight end 2 flex play if you need. If you have Kittle out or something like that, you can throw him in there. And I like him over like Jonnu Smith, who scored a touchdown last week. And on to the Cardinals side, are you really ever going to bench Trey McBride? No, you are not. Trey McBride obviously didn't find the end zone again in week 1. I hope this trend doesn't continue like 2024. But you get the Carolina Panthers. They gave up 65 yards to the tight end. They gave up a touchdown. They gave up tons of points. They ranked 27th versus the tight end. This should be Trey McBride tight end 1 week. It should be here. Smash him into your lineup. The Philadelphia Eagles are headed into Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs. And this game's going to be tough to explain, but I'm going to explain it in a different way here. So, Dallas Goedert in game 1, Dallas Cowboys, when they updated that Dallas Goedert is going to be a part of the offense a lot more this year, they were not lying. He led the Eagles in targets. Obviously didn't do a lot with the yardage, but still the volume was there. So if you need to throw out Dallas Goedert, the matchup is great here. I've never been a Dallas Goedert truster or truther as a starter, but you get the Chiefs. They gave up 68 yards to the position. That's very good for the tight end position. And they gave up 5 receptions. And Goddard saw 7 targets last game. What makes you think he can't hit 10 points and be a solid tight end play this week? I like Goddard this week in the matchup a lot this week, especially with McDuffie out there on corner on A.J. Brown. Now, Travis Kelce, the matchup is brutal. The Philadelphia Eagles were very good versus the tight end against the Cowboys in week 1, but Ferguson did have those touchdowns. It was just bad throw by Dak. I'm so pissed. Ferguson was my sneaky play of the week, and I told people to start him, and the touchdown just fell short. But the Eagles, so number 5 versus the tight end, only gave up 23 yards, 5 receptions, right? It's not great. Didn't give up any end zone, no touchdown. But why do I still kind of like Travis Kelce this week, even though I didn't like him in week 1? He broke out the touchdown on a busted play. He looked slow. He didn't look like he could get open. He wasn't finding the zones. He even missed a wide open read from Patrick Mahomes just stopping in his tracks. These are things I talked about before the season started, is how engaged you see in football when you're married to a billionaire and you don't really care. So I don't, I'm putting him as a start here. The matchup is horrible, but he's going to be a start just volume based, right? You got Xavier Worthy out. You got Rashee Rice out, or Xavier Worthy's day-to-day, but I don't think he's going to play. The updates, I don't think there's any way he's going to be out there after they hit the Travis Kelce gave him. And Hollywood Brown sees massive targets. You got to like the volume, but I still, if I could sell high, and you think I'm crazy for saying this, I would sell high right now on Travis Kelce if I could, because I don't think that he looked that great in week 1, even though he scored. The 0-1 Dirty Birds Atlanta Falcons are headed in to face the Minnesota Vikings. 45.5 over under. Minnesota favored by 4.5 here. And I'm not going to, pump the brakes on TJ Hawkinson yet, but we'll get there in a second. Kyle Pitts. I've been saying all year, one last dance. Loved him at best ball at value. Look what happened in week 1. The targets were there. The air yard utilization was there. The snap share was there. And now, although the matchup versus the Vikings last year, they gave up a lot to the tight end. Week 1 versus Caleb Williams and, Cole Kmet or Colston Love, and however you want to split that 12-team personnel, didn't really give up a lot to the tight end. But it's a Travis Kelce type situation right now. Again, we don't know if Drake London's going to be there. We don't know if Darnell Mooney's going to be out there. Kyle Pitts may be the focal point of this offense and an absolute smash play tight end this week. I am starting him with confidence. TJ Hawkinson. We're still rolling this guy out. The Monday night game script, I can't even explain it. I was texting D-Bro from Fantasy Pros last night about it. I was like, dude, what happened with TJ Hawkinson? He's like, man, the game script just led the other way. They had to change the defense up and then opened up J.J. McCarthy late. I'm not running away from TJ Hawkinson at all. The man's an absolute stud. It's one game. The connection with JJ McCarthy will grow more. They are getting the Atlanta Falcons, who were number one versus tight end last week. They gave up 0-0-0 across the board, but they played against Cade Otton. And that wasn't the strength. The strength was going to be the slot of Emeka Egbuka in that game, and everyone knew it. So I'm still starting TJ Hawkinson with confidence in this game. The Falcons are going to struggle across the middle, and you're not going to have your Addison slot out there. Thielen looked okay in his first game. So, I mean, TJ Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts, they're both going to be starts for me this week. This one's going to be real quick. Monday Night Football, the beginning of the doubleheader. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 1-0, headed in to face the Houston Texans 0-1. And I'm not starting either one of these tight end guys. The over-under is 42.5. Cade Otton was just blanketed. Dalton Schultz was outplayed by Cade Stover, but Cade Stover did go down with, it looks like, a season-ending injury, which hurts them there. But if you're starting these guys, like, I'm not even going to well, I guess I'll show out the defenses. Texans versus the tight end right now, as of heading into last week, they ranked 10th. They gave up, 7 yards to the position against the Rams, so not great there. And when you look at the Buccaneers, they gave up 59 yards. But again, the Buccaneers played against Kyle Pitts. Different kind of situation with Drake London out there. I don't like either one of these tight ends this week. Should be playing in simple, sit them both. The Monday Night Football second part of the doubleheader. Last but not least, the Division AFC matchup: Chargers and Raiders. This is going to be a grunge battle game. When it comes to the Chargers, am I really going to start Will Dissly or Tyler Conklin? If you do, that's on you. I'm not starting either one of these guys, but I will throw the Raiders stats out from week 1. So the Raiders versus the tight end, they were 16th. They gave up 76 yards. So it's a very, very advantageous matchup. But you have to remember, Hunter Henry was feasting. They were down. The pass-heavy game script led to their defense giving up more yards. So it's really not that bad, and it won't be like that in this grunge game. And I'm not trusting either one of these Charger tight ends, period. Now, the gamble time here. We don't have the update on Brock Bowers. They did say that he wanted to come back in the game, but they had the game in hand, so they didn't throw him out there with the little banged-up knee injury he had. So it's good. If we don't get the update early, it's going to be very, very rough. So Michael Mayer was involved in this game with a 64% snap share. I think 68. Either way, close around that range off the top of my head. In this game with Brock Bowers being out there. They were using a lot of 12 personnel. Pete Carroll loved this. Chip Kelly loved it. Mayer was getting targets. So if Brock Bowers goes down or sits out a week in this game, say they hold him out, because they don't want to lose him for the season because of the injury, Michael Mayer instantly becomes a start. I mean, Geno Smith, the way Pete Carroll and them used this tight end was a way different look than I thought. I thought it'd be more of a run-heavy game, but they got stuffed in the run. And now you're going up against the Chargers run D, who just absolutely lit up Pacheco in the Chiefs run game. There's going to be no run game here for the Raiders again with Genty. So I really, really like Brock Bowers or Mayer if they're out there. So remember to pay attention to the updates and see if Brock Bowers is going to miss time or not. But I think Bowers is going to be out there. And if Bowers is out there, then Mayers is a sit. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is all my stardom sit-ems for the day and the tight ends in this episode. Now, tomorrow, guys, I'm going to try and crank it all out. So we have it all out by Wednesday. I'm going to get my quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and kicker and defenses rankings as well, because those matter in fantasy football too. I've already got them kind of laid out. I need to do a little bit, work in the morning, and I'll get them out to you guys. As always, on your way out, guys, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscription button. I'm obviously tired, man. It's been a lot of videos today and a lot of work. Make sure you check out the Patreon, the Discord. It is linked in the comments, and it is pinned in the description. And as always, guys, if you haven't signed up on drafters.com, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It will match your deposit up to $100 or double your initial deposit, whatever you put in. And you can do best ball, pick'ems, daily DFS with us, everything like that. And I hit both of our locks last week. I had Keenan Allen over the receptions and Jameson Williams over the receptions. Those both hit. I'm glad the Discord made some money there, guys. That is it for me, guys. I will catch you in the next video. Sleazebomb out. Thanks for listening.